Look up hot in the dictionary. There's a picture of this young man. Here is as hot as you get at 25 in this business, in the history of this business. Here is Michael J. Fox, right here. Here's a young man who went from Family Ties, as hot as TV shows we've got, to Back to the Future, $200 million. The hottest movie of '85.
I didn't get a penny of it, Phil.
Uh-huh. And he's good-looking in person as well. Is that your opinion?
Yes.
And who has the first question? Yes, ma'am.
Are you planning a sequel to Back to the Future?
Yeah, in fact, I'd like to clear that up because somebody printed in the paper that I had said there wasn't going to be a sequel. And, you know, I just sooner talk bad about my mother and no, it'll probably be done in '88. Everybody's kind of off in their own little worlds right now, and we're all planning to meet at Universal Studios in '88.
Before the show, they said something that you were born in Canada. Were you educated in Canada or in the United States?
Well, I was enrolled in school in Canada. Yeah.
You're a citizen of Vancouver.
Yeah, I'm a citizen of Canada. I grew up in Vancouver, and but I mean, like most Canadians, educated through the American media as anything else. I mean, saw the same shows as you guys.
Do you like a lot of girls think of you as like God. I mean,
yeah, it's a burden. It's a burden.
Do you like all the publicity you get? Because like I got this poster in the mail, and I didn't send for this. I swear to God.
No, I just send those out. You know.
Do you like walking down the street and having to like beware of like people behind you? Or
well, I'll tell you, it's
like normal.
As far as that kind of stuff goes, you know, you never talk to these teen magazines or anything. There's just they kind of get their photos and they kind of take things from other interviews that you do, and it's just kind of self-perpetuating. And in terms of on the street, I find that there's not like this ponytailed threat, this freckle-faced menace that's out there to make my life miserable. They're just people real nice and come up and say hi.
Okay. I watch you every Thursday, okay? Now, I'm just curious, when you're on the set, is it very hard not to crack under pressure? I mean, with all the jokes and all the sarcasm.
Well, it's like family. It's like anything. After a while, it's like going to the office. And if you're lucky, you've got great people at the office you have a good time working with. And we forget that there's 50 million people or whatever watching. We just do it for the 200 who come to the taping on Friday, and most of the times we do it for ourselves because we have fun.
My granddaughter thinks you're mint, and she'd like to get one of those large posters. Could you tell us where we can get them?
They're available in the lobby, and I have more in the trunk of my car. So.
Michael, how much of your personality can you identify with your personality on the show?
Well, Alex has got all kinds of... This is really kind of good. I've got Alex's jacket, and my pants, and, I don't know, I think a friend of mine's sweater. He probably went, oh, there it is! I think Alex's, kind of energy and ambition and maybe a little pomposity every now and then, but we're different. You just try to... I'm mostly energy,
We have videotape which shows the evolution of this young man as a performer. Here is the work with which most Americans are familiar with Michael J. Fox. Here is a scene from Family Ties. You like that?
Yes, I'm here.
Go ahead.
I'm wanting to ask Colonel Keaton. I'm calling from Wheeling, West Virginia. And I wanted to know if you ever invaded Canada yet.
Yeah, no. She's referring to... We did a show where Alex turned 18 and went down to Wheeling, West Virginia to have a drink or two because the drinking age was lower there, and his mother came and pulled him out. But and he was in the process of telling these girls he was a fighter pilot on his way to invade Canada. No, I never did. I think Tom Cruise did it for me, didn't he?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to know, did you get your first break on your own, or did you know someone? In other words, did you suffer before you became famous, or was it handed to you?
No, it was through the mail. It was through the mail. I got my break. Well, I came down to Canada. I was working in Canada, and on my 18th birthday, I came down to the States and knew some people through an American film I had done in Canada, and they set me up and were very nice to me. Got me an agent, and through that agent, I managed to get some work, and I worked for about a year and a half and made some money and thought I was Howard Hughes and spent it all and got a bit of a belly and a bit of an attitude, and then you know, of course, the reward for that is a year of nothing. You know, everyone said no, you're not that excited about the work anymore, and really I paid for being a jerk, and then a year later, when I was hungry and eager to work again, Family Ties came up. So there was a year of macaroni, my macaroni year.
Yes, I'd like to know if you've ever felt self-conscious about your size, and if so, what have you done to overcome that?
Wheaties. I never did. The biggest problem I ever had with my size was in that one of my first loves was playing hockey, and it just came to a point where I couldn't play hockey anymore because I was getting crunched badly in the corners. Beyond that, not really. I think it might have made me a little more gregarious, a little more outgoing, because you either kind of have to talk fast or run fast, and so I learned to talk fast because I'm too lazy to run.
We met, yes, ma'am.
At what age did you get the idea to become an actor?
I think, I started doing theater in school when I was, 14 or 15. I was playing music. I was playing in bands, and both drama and rock and roll came out of an intense desire to meet girls. And then when I got there, I found out that I was better at one than the other, so I kind of dropped rock and roll and kept pursuing acting. And then the next thing I knew, I was working professionally.
You directed one of the Family Ties shows. Which do you prefer, acting or directing?
Well, I didn't actually direct a Family Ties show. I directed a very weird little film that was on David Letterman. But I wouldn't want to direct Family Ties because I get along so well with Meredith and Michael and Justine and Tina and everybody else, and I prefer to keep it that way. And
we mentioned.
I love directing. I'm looking forward to getting a chance to do it a little more. But right now, I'm kind of busy.
Yeah. Is there someone special in your life right now, and if so, who?
Oh, you, and you know it. You silly.
You have been successful in deflecting all the curiosity.
Well, what's really funny is that, last year, I saw a few people, but there were none of the people that were in the papers. So it was kind of interesting. But it gets kind of weird, it's kind of strange when you
read about your romance.
Well, if you're going to go out for dinner with somebody and you have to kind of say, be it romantic or otherwise, and you have to say, look, it's almost like you have to give them a release to sign, because you say, if someone takes a picture, it's going to edit and they're going to say that I said I was walking on air about meeting you or whatever all this stuff is. So it gets a little strange, but when all that happens, you do kind of make an intense effort to keep that little bit for yourself.
In Back to the Future, you were playing in a band and you were playing, I think it was electric guitar. Do you really play that, or if you do you play any other instruments besides that?
In fact, we've got a clip.
Before we show that, here is the movie of the year, 1985. This is what we call very, very successful film. For the 6 of you who have not seen Back to the Future.
Oh, I thought it was Porky's. I hadn't seen that.
Here is Michael J. Fox as a character who's been transformed back to his own childhood, and the woman with whom he's speaking is his mother.
You're my name is Lorraine. Lorraine Baines?
Yeah. But you're so thin.
Just relax, Calvin. You've got a big bruise on your head.
Where are my pants?
Over there. On my hope chest. I've never seen purple underwear before, Calvin.
Calvin, why do you keep calling me Calvin?
Well, that is your name, isn't it? Calvin Klein? It's written all over your underwear. Oh, I guess they call you Cal.
No, actually, people Call me Marty.
Oh, pleased to meet you, Calvin. Marty. Clyde. Do you mind if I sit here?
No, fine. No, good, fine, good.
That's a big bruise you have there.
Ray, are you up there?
Oh my God, it's my mother. Quick, put your pants back on.
That is Back to the Future.
It just made me think of when they played the movie in Europe and they were going to play it in France, and nobody over there knows who Calvin Klein is. So I think in France it's why do you keep calling me Yves? Yves Saint Laurent.
Are you there? Hi.
Yes. I have a comment and a very quick question. Comment is that my daughter is 10 years old, and she thinks that Michael J. Fox is the best thing to happen to this world since peanut butter. Also, the effect of the movie affected all, it affected all ages, especially in little girls. And I wanted to find out if he was aware of how much of a symbol of perfection he is to 10-year-olds, because to my daughter and all of her friends here in Indianapolis, he is the utmost of everything. And I just wondered if he knew that it was not only teenage girls, but it was even, little munchkin-type girls, too.
Smurfs. And the U of E, the utmost of everything. Boy, that's tough at 9 in the morning. I thought I was going to have a hard time getting through today just being me. Well, it's not. I mean, it's nice. In fact, the people that are most affecting when they meet you and they get excited. I mean, I like to hear from everybody who likes the show, and I don't really like to hear from people who don't. But people are generally real nice. But what's great about little people, younger people, is that it's so magical to them, and to kind of, like Brian Bonsall, who is a little boy on our show, is 4 or 5. When he first came on the show, he looked like I probably would have looked if I'd met Bugs Bunny, and he met me and talked to me, and then demanded I turn into a werewolf, and was so distraught when I told him that I couldn't do it because I kind of ruined this myth for him, and I wanted to kind of try to make it better, So I arranged to have a DeLorean. So I said, well, I can't turn into a werewolf, but we can go for a ride in the DeLorean. It's an interesting thing because to everyone else you can say, I'm just an actor, and you got to have your private life, and you can't say, well, you can't be perfect, and you can't put that on yourself because it's too much to take home at night, and it can be a little strange. But for younger kids, you kind of want to be, and you kind of want to be everything they want you to be, because they shouldn't have the burden of knowing you're a human. If they think you're Superman, you should try and please them.
Hi. You were asked by the late James Cagney to portray himself in a biography. Have you begun filming anything on that yet?
Well, first of all, I mean, that was a mind-boggling event that I still kind of get when I think about it, and the time that I got to spend with him and talk to him. It means a lot to me. When he passed away, it just caused me to want to step back from it, because not forever, but I don't want, and I don't think he would want, a spur of the moment, a knee-jerk out of grief, kind of mourning thing where we could all go, oh, don't we miss him? I think it's better to now's a good time to watch all the James Cagney movies you can watch and celebrate James Cagney. And then, a little bit down the road, then maybe we can kind of do that. I think that I would service the part being a couple years older, and I just think it'd be better if there was some distance on it.
And you would learn to dance, or you know how to dance?
Well, actually, that's all it is. I'm just stalling during the dance lessons. Yeah, I would, but it's something I'm still too caught up in it to want to jump right in and do that. It means too much to me.
Michael, I was wondering, have you ever gone back to your hometown since you become famous, like to a class reunion or something, and said,
yeah,
"Here
those
I am"?
bums, forget it. Yeah, I do. I go home all the time. my parents and I have a home together up there, and I get up there a few times a year, not as much as I'd want.
Up there is Vancouver, British Columbia,
Yeah.
in the westernmost province of Canada, and you
The
are
most
only
beautiful
30.
city in North America, I'm sorry.
The most beautiful city, home of the Expo this summer.
Yeah.
And 30 miles from the United States.
Yeah, real close.
Border.
Real close.
Well, that was my question. I was wondering, does Michael come from a large family? Do you have brothers, sisters? Are you the youngest, oldest, middle child?
I'm all of the above. I'm the second youngest. I have 3 sisters and a brother, 1 younger sister, and then my parents were amazing planners. I don't know how they did it, but there's my younger sister who's 22, and then myself 3 years older, and then a sister who's 5 years older than me, then a brother who's 8 years older than me, and then another sister who's older than me.
Your father is with the Royal Mounted Police?
Actually, no, that was kind of a...
he was an officer in the Army.
He was an officer in the Army, and then he was a dispatcher for a local police department.
Mm-hmm. Are you there? Hi.
Hi. First of all, Michael, I think you're an amazing actor. You really put a smile on my face. My question is that I read that you never finished high school, and I was wondering if you had any desire to continue a formal education in the future.
Yeah, I'd love to. It's so funny. Anytime I hear formal education, I always think of people going to school in tuxes. I really would love to, and it was really not an easy decision for me to make to leave school. And it was kind of a little bit of an angry reaction too, because I wanted to be an actor, and it was something I cared a lot about. And I had a lot of teachers who told me, not wait until you get done from school, but basically that's an unrealistic ambition. And I just thought, I mean, anytime anyone tells me I can't do anything, my first reaction is, oh yeah. And so I left school. I definitely don't recommend it, and I find it's a weird responsibility because it looks like it's the right thing to do when it really isn't. I wish I had time to go back to school, and at some point I think I would. I'd like to basically take some journalism courses. And
Hi, thanks for waiting. Go ahead.
Yes, I just wanted to ask Michael, has he ever had any personal feelings about Mallory, his sister, on the show, other than professional? And I'd also like to tell him that he's the hottest thing since Fonzie.
It's my sister you're talking about. You're sick. I'll tell you, looking at Justine now, one could definitely develop personal feelings. But I've known Justine since she was 15 years old, and we kind of grew up together, and we've been together for 5 years, and we have a really deep affection for each other on that basis. It really, you know what I mean? It's like something
know what you mean.
It's something that doesn't even enter your mind. It doesn't even, Meredith Baxter Burney, on the other hand, if you want to go.
Hi, thanks for waiting. Go ahead.
Hi, Michael. I live in Cleveland, and I was at the Light of Day premiere, and it was really great. And there was also a benefit for the spina bifida, and they said that you were the chairman of this charity, and they said that's your favorite charity. I'd like to ask you how you got involved with this.
Well, a member of my family, I wouldn't want to go into details because it's their private life and not mine, but was born with spina bifida, which is the most common congenital birth defect. It's like 1 in 1,000. All the ones that you know by name, muscular dystrophy and cystic fibrosis, and equally damaging and unsettling birth defects that should equally be dealt with quickly and effectively, are nowhere near as common as spina bifida. And the thing that frustrated me about that, upon when it entered my life and the lives of the other people in my family, was, I don't like to not know things that I should know, and to not know how prevalent this situation is. Essentially a birth defect.
It's an incomplete spinal development.
Right. I just said, why don't I know about this? And why don't other people know about it? So I called up spina bifida and just said, if I can be your mouthpiece, I'd love to. And then when situations like the premiere come up and they say, can we do it for anybody? It's great to say, yes, spina bifida.
Millions of men and women, mothers and fathers around the world are meeting the challenge of spina bifida, we should say. It is a truly challenging...
These parents, you've never met people. First of all, the kids are unbelievable. But it just brings out things in people that it's unfortunate, obviously, and none of us wish it on anybody or any family or ourselves, that that we should be in that situation, but it sure brings out some amazing things in people that didn't know they have a patience and heroics, and
yes,
beautiful.
We're in New York City with Michael J. Fox, and we'll be back in a moment.
One of the reasons why I really like the show, Family Ties, is just the relationship with the family. And I'd like maybe to find out a little bit more about your family relationship. Is it anything like it is on Family Ties?
Yeah,
Not many kids.
Yeah, it's, you know, family, you know, family is real important to me, and I find that I'm always drawn towards it when I read scripts and things. It's always something that, you know, without even being conscious, I always find that I'm attracted to those situations. You know, my show, I was gonna say my family is, you know, a little older, a little different spread, and certainly my parents are of a different generation. Not much, Mom, just a couple years. And it's like that. I find, you know, I've said before that, you know, the family situation, or like the dinner table, is, you know, really one of the oldest forms of American theater, because you have all these people that are together every night, you know, same show, same cast, you know, maybe different dialogue. Every family's got stars and supporting players and comedy relief, and it's fun on the show to be able to do that. You know, I've often said about my brother, you know, my brother was the funny guy at the dinner table. He hates me for that because he goes to work and everyone goes, "Hey, Steve, be funny," you know. But he was a lot like Alex, you know, in terms of just you could talk your brains out and he could just say, boom, and you just feel like about this big. And so it's fun on the show because there's such a wealth of material, because there's so many families and so many experiences and so many relationships that, you know, we feel like we can never run out on the show.
I was wondering, during that lean year that you spoke about, Michael, did you have like a regular job, or did you go into more acting classes? Or?
I couldn't have a regular job because I'm from Canada, and my visa only let me be an actor. So when all my friends were, you know, working at the supermarket and at restaurants and stuff, I couldn't do that. So I basically, I don't know what I did. Every once in a while a residual check would come in or something, and basically got by on that.
Hi, thanks for waiting. Go ahead.
Yes, my husband and I are professional. We like hockey a lot. We watch it a lot on television. And we're wondering why he didn't go professional.
As a hockey player.
What, with ice hockey?
Mm-hmm.
Get out of here. Yeah. Those professionals have sticks bigger than me.
Well, Wayne Gretzky is no middle linebacker.
Well, I know, but he's about 5. I'd say Wayne's about 5'11" or 5'10". It's also, you know, most pro hockey players, it's true, aren't as big as football players or even baseball players. Certainly not basketball players. They're about, you know, I think the average is probably about 5'11", about 180, 190. I'm about, you know, 6 inches short of that, and to get to be 180, I'd need another chair, I think.
I'd like to hear some graphic hard luck stories from when you first started getting into Hollywood. I mean, we see you successful. We see the star.
When Back to the Future came out, I talked to a couple of people about stuff like that, and it just went crazy, and everyone's talking about didn't have a phone and did everything from the phone booth, which is true, and I was selling my furniture, which is true, and I ate a lot of macaroni, which is true, and you know, used to. When the landlord came, you know, we had a network of friends that we'd all kind of go to each other's place, you know, whenever the landlord would come to each of our apartments and all that. But it really started to feel like I was setting myself up as the patron saint of starving actors. And there was a lot of people who have a tough time, and there are a lot of actors who have a difficult time, and there are a lot of writers, and there are a lot of musicians. And life's not easy for anybody. And I know also that I have an opportunity to say, stick with it, you know, and things will work out, and that I'll gladly expound on and say, no matter how tough it is, if you believe in yourself and you just know that you don't want to rip anybody off, you don't want to cheat anybody, you don't want to fake anybody out, you just want to do what you love and what you've taken great pains to be good at, and you want to be recognized and rewarded for it. I love to talk about that, but I just, as I, you know what I mean? You know, oh, pity poor me. Hey, I'm one of the luckiest guys in the world. I'm really fortunate. People have gone out of their way to to make my life something that that I'm, as I said, extremely grateful for. So what the price I paid, you know, a little bit of hard luck, hey, I'll take it.
Over here.
Being that you just finished your movie, and what do you do for yourself in a day or a week that you're not making movies or running the television shows? What do you do for yourself? And do you enjoy the time for yourself?
It hasn't been a lot of it lately, but I have a house that is right near in Los Angeles. One of the great things about LA is that you can live in all these different. I know I'm in New York talking about the virtues of LA. It doesn't go over very well, but you can live in all different kinds of areas. And you know, I'm 15 minutes from downtown Hollywood, but I basically live in a little country house in the hills. And I have 2 dogs who run my life, and I just like hanging out with them. And I find that when you're really busy and you work a lot, little things like, you know, shuffling across the kitchen floor and opening up the fridge and looking inside and you know, closing it and seeing if the light's still on when you close. Things like that, I can spend a good 15, 20 minutes on that.
You, I assume when you go home, you have to spend half your time trying to prove that you're not an egomaniac. Isn't that true? I mean, don't people just figure, come on, Michael, you've changed, you must have changed.
Right. Well, one of the joys is, you know, of being in this situation is, and someone comes up, and they're, you know, is to just say, human.
Old pals do that to you, do they?
They're waiting for something, and you really have to kind of go out of your way to, you know, to reassure them that it's not a contest, and you know, life's not a contest where we're all gonna add up points, and therefore we're gonna be, you know, worth more than each other. I mean, it really isn't that way in terms of, you know, it's all very well to have success. I know that if I've been lucky enough to have success, so if I say money isn't everything, you're gonna say, oh sure, because you got some. Yeah. And that's a valid point. I mean, I'm not gonna talk about that because there are people who really busting a hump to try and make a living. But really, beyond the point where you can take care of yourself and take care of your family and are comfortable and are not in pain, money's just a way of adding up points. So I'm not interested in getting together with my friends and opening our bank books and saying, I get the first and last word because the numbers are bigger in here, or because more people know who I am. It's just fun to put everybody at ease.
And we'll be back in a moment. Hi, thanks for waiting. Go ahead.
Hi, Michael. You've made us proud here in Vancouver, and we miss you. My question is, are you planning on ever coming back? Are you going to retire here, or what are you going to do?
I'm back all the time. I was out there in the malls at Christmas, shopping and my hat on, and yeah, I was home at Christmas, and I finished Family Ties in March, and I'm looking forward to spending a couple weeks at home. And you know, I'd love to say I'm coming home for the Stanley Cup playoffs, but we all know about that. Yeah, I get home a lot, and thanks very much. You made me.
You're not calling from Vancouver.
We miss you, Michael, and we love you very much here.
From where are you calling?
I'm sorry, I'm calling from Ontario. I'm just on holidays right now, but I'm from Vancouver.
I see.
Thanks, Michael.
We're glad you called.
Thank you.
Michael J. Fox flips for actress he met on a bus. I'm in love, says Michael J. Fox. Now, I know you didn't say this.
Good, but have fun with it. It's great. What's fun is actually trying to say this. Hearing these words come out of a human mouth, they just don't work.
Who's flipped for a 21-year-old actress he met on a bus.
See, before they had me flipping for a 38-year-old actress I met on the same bus. Because I was on a bus and had my picture taken with a lot of girls, so the magazine went, this is great. We've got a backlog of about, 5 women with whom to link him. Because I kid you not, and it'll all sound, I mean, I'm not real defensive about it. It's just real strange. It's not necessarily the worst thing that could ever happen to you. But I kid you not, this is the way it works. If they get a photograph of you and a woman,
any woman,
they're in. That's all they need. And then, boom, they put that on the front, and then they have a real good time making up stories. And they quite literally do.
They made this up. I can't deny it, I've fallen hard for her. You never said that, did you?
Yeah, no, it doesn't quite sound like me, does it?
So they can, a friend says, they quote a friend.
Right.
That is a manufactured quote, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lie, essentially. Yeah. Well, get right down to it, it is a lie.
Yeah.
It's not a lie that's going to ruin my life or anything, but that's the only thing, you know, about these magazines is that, you know, they're not, this particular instance, not vicious. You could say nobody's really hurt. You could say, hey, it's your job.
It's outside the realm of
Right.
lawsuit.
Yeah, well, it's not, strictly speaking. You could sue
Well, you'd
them
have a
because
hard
they
time
lie.
proving
But
that you
why do it? Why bother? The only thing that scares you is if they can make up something and say you were with somebody and you've fallen, you're walking on air, or you feel like, you know, like you've been kissed by Cupid or whatever the purple prose that they use. They can also say that, you know, someone in your family has a drug problem, or they can say something because they've proven that they aren't called on what they say. So the only thing that I say, hey, take all the shots at me you want because I've chosen this life, but you get a little nervous when it starts to get around the house because God help anybody who messes with my family, you know.
Hi, thanks for waiting. Are you?
They didn't wait.
Are you there? Thanks a lot. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask Michael if he'd go out with me.
Okay, I'm going to be out of here for 5 minutes after the show. You wear a pink carnation. If you're there, we're in.
All right.
Would you ever do college visits?
Do college visits? I'd like to. I'm scared to death of them because I'm afraid they're going to use words like conundrum and...
Hi. 4 years ago, I broke into Billy Joel's house, and he didn't seem to mind. So I was wondering if you'd mind if we did that.
I'll call the cops. It all depends on what your intention is.
Mike, what's the most outrageous thing you've ever done with all this money you've made?
Oh, I don't know. I'm looking forward to getting a chance to be outrageous. I haven't been outrageous yet. I got a car. I'm like into cars. Okay, when I was first came to Los Angeles and I'd be driving in, you know, rent a car or on a bus or something, and I'd see some young guy in a sports car. I'd say, "You jerk! What a jerk!" And then when I could, I got a Ferrari. So now I drive it and I go, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry." But it's fun.
Getting back to Family Ties, I was wondering if Michael got along with Nick on the show. Is he really intelligent or anything like that?
Scott is one of the sweetest people in the world. Scott Valentine, I mean, he doesn't need anyone to play the violin for him, but he's talked about it. He was in a real bad accident and had a lot of reconstructive surgery on his body, on his, you know, a hip. I think he had rebuilt, all kinds of things, and really people counted him out. And now here he is, and he's got a great job, and he's got a great wife, and he's got a beautiful little baby named Trevin from heaven, he calls him. And he's just a great guy. I love Scott.
Hi. When someone up front asked you about girls that you were dating, you didn't mention anybody serious, so I was wondering if you were busy May 9th.
May 9th? What's May 9th?
Marymount College's senior formal.
But that's college and formal. That's like a formal education. I am working. I mean, but who knows? You know, I'll be here in New York.
I'd like to tell you that I really identify with the character on Family Ties that you play. I have an Alex at home.
Oh,
you
okay.
portray him beautifully, and I'd like to know if there's any role that you'd love to do, always wanted to do.
There's a lot of them. I mean, you know, we talked about James Cagney and things like that. Also, there's a book that I've always really liked. Not always, because it hasn't been written that long, but since I read it, called Bright Lights, Big City. I don't know if anybody knows that, but I'm going to do that starting April. I'm going to shoot here in New York. I really take things one thing at a time. I'm not a real plotter or a planner. If I was, I don't think I'd be an actor because I would have realized what a ridiculous plot that was. But I just take it as it comes. I have no, you know.
In Back to the Future, you do a skateboarding scene. How much of your own stuff do you do? Or do you get doubles to do it?
I did everything that wasn't dangerous.
My immediate impression is that you're pretty much a wise guy on the set. Do you take your work very seriously when you're working
Yeah, I take my work very seriously. I probably take it too seriously, but I also know that you've got to have fun, and you've got to, you know, one of the reasons that I became an actor is because I knew I couldn't kind of do the 9 to 5, and I knew I would even go deeper. It's one of the reasons I was good at drama in school and bad at math, because in math, you know, 1 + 1 = 2, and there's no getting around that. In acting, you just get the raw materials, and you can do whatever you want with it, and there's no answer, there's no right answer. So when you're working, you don't want it to be like a 9 to 5 job. You don't want it to be a work-a-day type thing, because that's precisely the reason that you got that job. So we try to have fun, we try to kid each other and give each other a hard time, but we do work very hard.
How long do you plan to stay with Family Ties? Alex is in college. You can't continue forever.
Well, I think we've got, and not just myself, but everyone on the show, 1 to 2 more contracted years. But we really love the show. I personally am in absolutely no hurry to leave the show, in spite of, you know, everyone kind of wants to put that on me, saying, "Oh, well, when are you going to leave? When are you going to leave?" I'm not going anywhere. I love it. I got a parking spot at Paramount. You know, I've finally gotten used to the food, and we, you know,
and you can do pictures.
Yeah, and they let me do them. You know, Gary Goldberg, the producer of Family Ties, made it possible for me to do Back to the Future. He makes it possible. He goes to great lengths to open up the schedule for me to do other projects. Excuse me, and you know, you just have to make myself sound like a hero, because it's just basic proper human behavior, I think. But I mean, you don't reward that by saying, "Well, thanks for the breaks, and see you later." You know.
I know you've been asked this before, so bear up and grin. And you're not in the Brat Pack, and I think the Brat Pack is upset at the media attention and the handles that we've given to Emilio Estevez and others. How do you feel about this?
It disturbs me a lot. I call them; they never call me back. No, these are I don't know, because I'm waiting for this guy whoever made this thing up to publish a register, you know, a roster of who these people are.
Who's in the Brat Pack and who?
He hasn't done that yet. I think you're dealing with a bunch of young individual artists who all have individual approaches to the work, and the ones that I do know, those actors that I do know, take the work very seriously. And what happens is the media praises them and says what terrific jobs they did, and these are the artists of the future, and da-da-da, and gives them all this stuff, and then turns around and says, "Okay, now do for me." And they say, "Wait a minute, I didn't ask for that, and I'd love to do for you, but let me do it on my own terms."
What do they want them to do for them?
Well, interviews or whatever they want. They want them to turn around and reward these writers with precisely whatever the writers want, because they feel they deserve it.
And then when they resist, they nail them for...
Boom, they nail them. It's like they invite them to a banquet, and then whenever they want, they make them the main course. And it's really not fair. You can't, as far as I'm concerned, you people and the people who watch movies and the people who watch television shows, you can generalize us, package us, put us down, build us up, do whatever you want. It's your $5.50. You're the ones that we're working for. You can do whatever you want. I find that you were a lot more generous and a lot more thinking and a lot more caring than some of the journalists who really attack. I mean, you're talking about 22, 23-year-old, 24-year-old people now. Maybe they've had success, and maybe they're making a buck or two or whatever. And I agree that they are lucky for that, and they should feel a certain amount of gratitude. But they're still people, and they still have feelings. And you know, you wouldn't want to be packaged with a bunch of people and given a label and said, you know, you're expected to be jerks because we think you are and we have the power to print it.
And we'll be back in just a moment.
The fantasies you give little girls. What is your greatest fantasy?
It's my greatest fantasy to keep doing this for as long as I can.
Yes. How much of Michael J. Fox's personality is in Alex?
We have the same body.
Do you see a parallel between you as a young person and James Cagney as a young person?
No, James Cagney had a lot tougher time than I did, boy. He grew up down here in New York. And
Michael, is there a rose-covered cottage in your future?
There's one right now. My house is just like that.
Is Michael J. Fox your real name?
Michael Fox is my real name. My real middle name is Andrew. But I didn't want to be Michael A. Fox. It didn't work.
Michael, what is your dream?
What is your dream girl like?
What's my dream girl like? She's about 5'4". And no, I just happy and funny.
Were you actually the wolf, or was it somebody else?
Well, I'm from Vancouver. We don't play a lot of basketball, so anytime.